Hey guys, in this video, we're going to take a closer look at the AFE Mach Force-XP 3-inch dual exhaust system with polished tips and a rear exit, fitting all 19 and newer 5.7 liter powered Ram 1500s. Now, this is going to be a great option for any Ram owner out there looking to get an exhaust that's not so loud that it's going to be undaily drivable, but at the same time, a noticeable upgrade over factory, an exhaust that's also going to fit the chrome tip look, and at the same time, one that's made right here in the USA. So as you guys just heard, this AFE system is packing a lot of tone. However, this isn't going to kill you on volume. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 on our Wake the Neighbor scale, which, like I said, is really enough to know that this is an upgraded exhaust system. However, it's not going to drive you crazy over 60 miles an hour when you're just cruising down the highway, which I think makes this kit perfect for the daily driver that's looking to get a little bit more tone and just a little bit more volume out of their exhaust system. Definitely a well worth upgrade. So what do we have going on here with the Mach Force-XP 3-inch? First things first, let's talk about build quality, and the first thing we're going to touch on is stainless steel. The majority of this kit is going to be 3-inch diameter 409 grade mandrel bent stainless steel tubing. Now 409 stainless, that's going to be a nice middle ground, a huge step up from aluminized steel, however not as expensive as the higher grade 304 stuff. Mandrel bends are also exactly what you want on an exhaust kit. That's going to ensure throughout the length of all of the bends on this tubing that the walls of the tube are nice and smooth, allowing your exhaust gases to escape as fast as possible. In the middle, we have AFE's high flow muffler, which really is where a lot of our sound is going to be coming from. Comparing that to the factory stuff, that really does cut out a lot of bulk. On top of that, we are completely losing the resonators back here by the tips. We're going to get this side by side next to the factory stuff in just a second and really point out the differences between those two, but suffice to say those two changes really do make a difference in terms of tone. At the back here, we do have a really high quality set of 304 grade stainless 5-inch exhaust tips. They're sporting the AFE logo on the side and a polished finish for the chrome fan out there, and they're going to exit right in the factory location. Of course, if you're not a fan of the chrome, these tips are also available in black as well. So let's talk a little bit about horsepower numbers. We all know exhausts typically add just a tiny bit of horsepower, really nothing you could feel from the driver's seat. AFE really impressed me here. They backed this exhaust up with some dyno numbers as well. Before we get into that, I want to state this is on their truck, on their dyno jet, so just keep that in mind. But with this exhaust system applied to an otherwise stock 5.7 Ram, this kit made 22 horsepower and 26 foot-pounds of torque underneath the curve, which are some really, really respectable numbers. Pricing for this kit is going to fall right around $800. Now, this is a really high quality kit. It's made right here in the USA, so that's a price tag that I would expect. However, it is a little bit more toward the expensive side, but in my opinion, well worth it. Before we move on to the install here, I do just want to make a quick note about fitment. This is only going to fit specific cab and bed setups. If you have the crew cab, this will fit the 5.7 and the 6.4 bed. And if you have a quad cab, this is only going to fit the longer 6.4 bed. Also, this will only fit 5th gen Rams. If you have a 2019 Classic, that is a 4th gen Ram. If you have the 2019 5th gen redesign, this will work perfectly for you. But with all that out of the way, let's get to the good stuff. Let me show you how to get this hooked up on your Ram. It's really pretty simple. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Should take you at most 2 hours if you come with the right tools. So without any further ado, let me show you how it's done. Tools I use for this install will include an impact, U-joint, ratchet, 15mm wrench, 16, 15, and 13mm sockets. I highly recommend an exhaust hanger removal tool, a pry bar, and last but not least, some PB Blaster can help things move a little bit if your truck is a little bit rusty. So the first tool we're gonna need here is gonna be the smallest ratchet you can get in a 15mm socket. Reason being is this pipe over here on the passenger side, this is actually split and held onto the rest of the kit with a clamp. All the other pipes in this exhaust system are completely welded together. So to make things a little bit easier, we're gonna get this driver's side tailpipe out of the way first. That clamp is facing up, it's in a tight spot, and that's why we're gonna need the smallest ratchet. Now I'm gonna use an exhaust hanger removal tool to get this hanger back by the muffler out of the isolator, and then we can drop away this tailpipe. The next thing we're gonna focus on are these two hanger isolators right behind our muffler. Both of these are gonna have to go. The easiest way I found to get these off is just to take a pry bar, sort of get it in between the hangers, and just pry that isolator off. And it's gonna be slow, but eventually they'll pop off. Now we're gonna move up toward the front of the truck. We're gonna get this other isolator as well up near our flange, but first we're gonna pull away this grounding tab just to get that out of the way. Then we're gonna get the pry bar and work that out of here. So the only thing holding up the front side of our exhaust are gonna be these two bolts in the flange. They're 16mm. We're gonna get them out of the way. Make sure your exhaust is nice and supported before you do that. Now we can move down the exhaust. The other point of attachment is gonna be a hanger isolator back here. Before we touch that, we're gonna have to work this exhaust out, so I'm just gonna remove the tip with a 13mm socket. That gives you a better shot at that hanger isolator, just like all the other ones. Gonna get our pry bar in there, hook it into the frame a hair, pry that out. Now with all of that removed, we can go ahead and pull out our exhaust. So now that we have our factory exhaust removed, I figured now would be the perfect time to build up our new AFE exhaust kit, put it next to our old factory exhaust, and draw some comparisons between these two. First things first, I do want to start with a similarity, and that's going to be the quality of the stainless steel used between these two kits. The majority of both of these kits are going to be 409 grade stainless steel. That's going to be a nice middle ground. It's a big step up from regular old aluminized steel, but not as good as the high quality 304 grade stainless. Now 304 grade is used in these kits for the tips only. So you get that real high quality stainless on the part of the exhaust that you see most often. That 304 is gonna look nice and shiny for years to come. However, the majority of those kits, 409, you can expect that AFE to look a little bit like this factory exhaust a couple years down the line. Now let's dive into some differences. We're gonna start at tubing diameter. Both of these kits start at 3 inches in diameter. However, after the Y split, our factory kit goes to 2 1/4, while our AFE stays 3-inch diameter tubing all the way throughout. That's definitely gonna help with flow and sound. Now the muffler, you can see from the factory, is a big restrictive factory, basically exactly what you'd expect style muffler. The AFE, that's getting cut down a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit more free flowing. And one thing I noticed is that the Y split that basically opens this up into two tailpipes on the factory kit, that happens behind the muffler, while in the AFE that happens inside the muffler. I'm not sure how that contributes to sound, but it's definitely a difference between these two. Also, as you can see, there are no resonators on our AFE kit. We're completely losing those in exchange for a straight through pipe. And we're also upping the tip diameter. I mentioned earlier, we got that high quality 304 grade stainless steel. And we're also upping the diameter from 4.5 inches out of the factory to a new 5-inch AFE tip. So with all that out of the way, we're pretty much good to start our install process. Before we head back to the truck, there's one thing we're gonna need to scavenge off of our factory exhaust, and that is the gasket for our flange. So now we're just gonna go ahead and start our install. That hanger is gonna push into the isolator. And then we can secure that using the factory hardware. Then on the opposite side here, you're gonna use the new AFE nut. I'm gonna go ahead and pop on this grounding strap. And I'm gonna leave the hardware loose for now. That gives us a tiny bit of wiggle room in this pipe if we need to make adjustments. That's going to apply to the rest of the kit as well. After that, grab a clamp, put it on the intake side of the muffler. We can get that started on the inlet pipe and then installed into its hanger isolators as well. Going to be the same process for our over axle pipes. We're going to start with some clamps. And this one, it's a little shorter. It's going to go over that on the passenger side. And then into the muffler. Then this one for the driver's side is a little bit longer to get around the spare. That's going to go in just like so. We're going to repeat that process for our tailpipes as well. And then the same process for the other side, slide on a clamp. And then you can get the tailpipe in place. Last but not least, we can slide on our tips. You want to make sure the logo is toward the outside of the truck, and then we can tighten down all the clamps and hardware. Now, all the clamps we just tightened down, they're gonna take a 15mm socket. When you get up here to the flange, obviously the factory stuff, that's gonna be the same old 16mm, but the new nut on the backside here from the AFE, that is gonna swap over to a 15. So break out the wrench for that one and tighten this down. That's gonna do it for me. It's also gonna do it for the AFE Mach Force-XP 3-inch dual exhaust system with polished tips and a rear exit. fitting all 19 and newer 5.7 powered Ram 1500s. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Keep it right here at American Trucks for all things Ram.